Again, you're the founder and CEO of From Farms to Table. Tell us very briefly what that is.
So
From Farms to Incubators.
I'm the founder and of From Farms to Incubators, and it's a special project that uses video, documentary, and the written word and photographs to highlight the stories of women, especially women of color, who are leaders and innovators in a sector called ag tech.
And how did you even land in this space?
That's an interesting story. I fell into this space. I'm a reporter by training and profession for 20 plus years, and I was sent to Salinas Valley in 2015 to cover agriculture for the USA Today network. I'm a huge consumer of food. I love to eat, but I'd never seen how food was produced from literally planting to harvest and to distribution. So Salinas, which is only about an hour south of us, is called the salad bowl of the world. That's the moniker. It's a $9 billion industry, and 80% of the leafy greens that we eat here in the US are actually grown in Salinas. And I came across the story of ag tech, and also this particular story, because I noticed that there are not a lot of women, and particularly women of color, who are leaders in agriculture and in technology. I'm a storyteller by trade, and there was a grant by the International Center for Journalists and later on the Howard Buffett Fund that sought stories of minority women business owners in the U.S. So I pitched the story, and I did a documentary that's been screened at over 24 places now, including South by Southwest. It tells the story of 4 women and the stories of why they launched a startup in the ag tech space. Yeah.
That's great. And what are some of the biggest challenges and problems that farmers in the Salinas Valley face? And what are some of the solutions that some of the women that you work with are raising?
So some of the problems that growers face, they're actually pretty tremendous. I mean, in California, where I was based for a number of years, it includes everything from the climate change, severe weather fluctuations, severe labor shortage. There's a huge shortage of field workers now that are either because they're aging out and young people are not as interested in farming as before. So the women innovators that I came across are creating the solutions and the technologies for the growers. For example, soil health is really critical for farmers, and it impacts the amount of farmable and arable land is actually declining due to pollution and pesticides. So one of the companies that I profiled was Trace Genomics, and there's Diane Wu and Purnima Parameswaran all the way to the left, and they are the founders of Trace Genomics. And it's a soil testing kit that measures like pathogen levels and the quality of soil health and disease as well.
Very cool. And how are you trying to scale what you've built From Farms to Incubators?
So that's a good question. From Farms to Incubators was started 3 years ago as a documentary, a series of articles, and also using storytelling journalistically to highlight these women. So 3 years later, I'm completing a book on. There are so many inspiring stories that I ended up deciding, well, I'm going to write a book on this. So I'm profiling more women than just the 4 women in the documentary. That's going to be completed in 2020. Also, it's going to be an exhibition at the National Steinbeck Center in Salinas at the end of 2020. So we'll use the photographs, and we'll use some of the written word and some of the art there. Also, an interesting theme that came about is the women that I've interviewed over the years. They have told me that there is a lack of a community and a place where they can connect with each other and share with each other some of the challenges and opportunities, maybe collaboration with women in ag and ag tech. So there's talk about creating more gatherings and events and maybe an alliance of women so that we can find ways to further highlight each other's work, perhaps find ways to get more speakers on panels or keynote speakers, different places.
Where can people see the film in full without any sort of technical issues?
Where can they see the film in full?
Keeping it real, right?
I'm just laughing because it's the second time the trailer hasn't played. But anyway, the film in full is actually now has been recently subtitled into Spanish. I wanted to extend the audience to a greater audience as well. So it's actually now going to be posted on the website from Farms to Incubators. And the full film is 27 minutes. The trailer is 4 minutes, and it's been extended too. The documentary. 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, I went back to the women to see where they are now, with with their innovation and funding.
And what did you find?
So a couple of the challenges that the women I talked to had was in fundraising. They said there was a challenge. Some of them had other startups before in other sectors, but they said it was even more challenging to raise money in the ag tech sector. And there was a relucance at a time several years ago with farmers on trying the technologies. Now they're saying that growers are much more interested in actually beta testing the technologies or seeking them out. And so I also talk to the growers as well, and they tell me that they need to go towards innovation to find solutions.
That's good.
Also.
We have a little bit of time. Is there one or maybe even two questions for Amy? In the back, Caitlin. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Rick Hernandez from Pitney Bowes, also a resident here of Half Moon Bay, which happens to be a farm town with a farm program in the high school. Can you talk about what you're doing to build the next generation of women like my daughter who are interested in getting into agricultural technology careers? And is there anything that we can do to get connected with you around that?
Great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. The impetus of actually continuing from farms to incubators was actually to inspire the next generation of young people to consider that farming isn't just tractors and overalls anymore. Although that's a lot of fun too. I've ridden in tractors. We're hoping to bring the stories into high schools and colleges and even the K-12 and have some of the women share their stories and of how they got into it, what's their interest in this, and to talk to the younger people in the school systems. Also, like for example, in Salinas, there is local government and colleges and universities and the school system have come together to create programs. Like there's a program called Coder Dojo where it encourages young women to come together and to learn how to code. So there are programs like that, and I think it comes down to also bringing entrepreneurship to younger people, not just at the college level, but even at the K-12 level. And I'm starting to see that with USDA. I talked to them. They're actually trying to start an education program in ag tech. There's like the Future Farmers of America and so forth that are trying to create programs like that. And also, I think just connecting young people with farms themselves. For example, actually, one of my other hats that I wear is I work on a farm. I became so passionate in agriculture that my day job is I work on a 1,500-acre farm in upstate New York now, and we have a beginner farmer training program, and we're starting to bring schools to the farm, to tour the farm, and to connect with the growers, to learn everything from how grains are connected with pizza making, to what does it mean to grow things organically.
Is there one more question for Amy? Awesome. Amy, thanks for the work you're doing.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.